Boom. All right. Rachel and Jared, the one and only, man. I'm super excited. I sat here this week. I was like, shoot, what am I gonna ask you? What am I gonna, and I feel like the biggest thing that I love about the Alliance is just the diversity of people. Look, like we all have different backgrounds, we all have different mindsets, we all have different wants, but there's one goal that we're shooting for, and that's success, right? We're
Right.
shooting whatever success is. I mean, there it comes under. It's basically a blanket. There's many different things that are underneath of it, but we all know we're under it, and that's what we want, right? And we're shooting for it. So let me ask you, Rachel and Jared, you guys started with the Alliance. When did you guys start?
I think I started last week. It was.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we started about a year ago, and we just had our anniversary
Year and
for
one
the
month.
Alliance. Yeah, yeah. Luckily enough, we did it at NatCon, so now we can't forget it. Now every time a NatCon comes around, we know another year has passed. So
And those for that don't know what NatCon is, what is NatCon?
NatCon's great. You know, it's a great way to start the year. It's a great way to get around mindset and the people. And it's pretty much it's an event where all the top producers come together and they present information, sales, mindset, like everything you need to be successful happens at the events. You know, especially with the next one coming up, View from the Edge. I know we're not going to miss it. We got people going there. We're gonna drag them there. We're gonna get everybody there that we can. Yeah.
When you guys started in the Alliance, what were you guys doing before you guys even thought about becoming insurance agents? What was that? What was your guys' life looking like before the Alliance?
So we were living in New Hampshire and I was working two jobs. I was working in corrections as a counselor, and I was also working as a nursing assistant. So when we moved, and Jared had a welding company. So when we moved to Florida, we knew that we wanted something different, but we didn't know what. And lo and behold, Jared was on Craigslist and found an ad for insurance. And I thought he was crazy because I was like, there's no way an insurance agent is going to make six figures. This sounds so boring. I pictured like going into State Farm and you see those cubicles and people just sit there all day.
Right, 100%.
That's what I pictured. So yeah, he talked to Kyle and Jason for a week or two, and I kind of heard the conversation going, and I got my license.
Hey Sarah, can you mute your line, please? Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and mute that. Jared, I'm gonna mute you. I know you're not being loud, but I'm gonna mute you. Okay, so you said you were living in New Hampshire, you were correct, so you work in the corrections. What got you into that? Was that something that you wanted to do? What got was that just a job for you, Rachel? Why did you get in that field?
No, I mean, I pretty much studied my whole life for that. I went to school, I got several degrees to be a clinician, to be a case manager. I've worked in human services, specializing in substance abuse treatment for 8 years.
Okay.
So, but when I got to the top, there wasn't much more growth that we could do. I mean, even at the top, the most people were getting paid was like 40,000. It wasn't a lot, which is why I kind of went to have a second job and was going to trade into nursing. And then when we moved, just kind of all, I didn't want that debt. I didn't want to go back to school. So it kind of all worked out.
That's awesome. And Jared, you man, listen, that's something you and I click on, man, because I used to actually be a welder by trade too before I even started in my entrepreneur career. I did it for about probably 5 years. How long were you a welder?
So I was a welder for about 12 years. I had my own company for like 8 or something like that. It was great. I was making really good money. I was doing like $160 a year, which is pretty good by, a lot of people's standards. Puts you in the 90th percentile of most earners today's rate, But for that, I was trading time at home. I was trading, putting a lot of hard miles on my body too. I got sick of that. I had a sciatic nerve problem. I had, torn rotator cuffs. It was just, I was putting a lot of miles on my body really quick. And, I've always been kind of entrepreneurial. And when I saw this opportunity, I just kind of jumped onto it.
Before you started your business, did you work for somebody else in the welding field, or how did you come about that?
Yeah, so I started right out of high school. I think I was cooking, and then a buddy of mine's dad had a worked for a company. Look at how a lot of blue collar get started. You know somebody at a company and they get you a job there. And that's kind of how I started. And I think the welder who was working there quit one day and they said, "Did anybody want to weld?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll weld." And then I think I worked for him directly for 2 years, and then I went out on my own. Like I started my company 1 month after my son was born. Left a full-time job and benefits and struck out on my own. And then first year doing that, I think I made like $100,000. So
what made that push? Like, were you tired before? Like when you went from working from somebody else, being a welder, and to owning your own business, what made that push? Was it that you were tired for like working for somebody else? Was it like you wanted more time? What made you push to become an entrepreneur in the beginning?
I thought making $100,000 would be like the coolest thing ever. I was like, man, I bet you, because I did the math, I knew how to do it. And I was like, all right, so if I do this, I'll make $100,000. And that was probably the big push, because I think the most I ever made welding for somebody else was like $40,000. And then someone told me if I bought a beat up pickup truck and put a $200 welder in the back, they'd pay me $100,000 to do it. So
You had to plug in.
yeah, you just needed stuff to plug into the welder, and so that's how I went and did it.
Then he
So
started
you were saying what, Rach?
then he started his own company making 6 figures, and our taste got more expensive.
Right, like whatever you guys. What do you guys like to do? I mean, what do you guys do outside of work?
Well, I mean, when we lived in right now it's just work 7 days a week. But
Yeah.
I mean, we lived on a lake in New Hampshire, so we had a boat and we'd be wakeboarding and tubing and hanging out with the kids on the water. And
I mean, so it's like that to a lot of people, that life sounded like the greatest thing, like house on the lake, wake boat, own business, 6 figures. But to me, it's like, I felt like I was kind of like tapped out there on what I wanted to do.
Right.
And so we kind of sold everything that we had, sold house, boat, cars, toys, everything, and moved down here without much of a plan. I just knew that if we stayed there, that's really all we'd ever do. So we came down here and then stumbled into insurance, and like
Where'd you guys move to?
and down to Orlando. So we went from New Hampshire to Orlando.
Okay.
No family, no friends down here, just literally just picked up everything. And like honestly, as more time goes by, the crazier it sounds. But people thought we were crazy. But then we found this opportunity, and it's opened our eyes to we're working a lot now. Like we're like 6-7 days a week. Like, we're hustling. Kyle can attest to that. We call him on Sundays. He's like, "What are you doing, man?" I'm like, "Got 6 lined up today, man. Just hit some church and just gonna keep getting it in."
I love it, man.
Because we know the fun that we're gonna get to on the other side is like crazy. Like we know that the trips are coming. Like we just won Ireland. So that's going to be our fun, is a 5 or 6 day trip to Ireland. And then like after that, I don't know, it's
Denver.
I just think like the fun stuff that we're going to do is going to be like nicer cars, nicer vacations. It's like, we knew we have to work for it, but I don't know. That's what I'm looking forward to.
You said something in the beginning, like you got tired of working like all these hours and being away from the family and stuff like that, right? And especially when it comes down to welding. And now you're talking about in the insurance world, you're talking about working 7 days a week. So that's working a lot of hours, right? That's consistently on just doing something in 24/7 is what Andy Albright likes to say. So how does that differ from when you were, let's say, welding or being in corrections, like to now? How is what's different about that? What makes you guys want to work more?
Go ahead.
Because this business has the legs to run. Like already I'm getting renewals from last year. Like I'm getting paid. I'll wake up to like $300 in my bank account that I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was take a step out of bed.
You made 93 rows of commissions going in 1 week. Just
Yeah,
going back
that's
to the
pretty cool.
policies.
Yeah, we
You
had
made how much?
93 commissions going in 1 week.
In one paycheck, in one
Yeah,
day.
from doing Medicare.
And back
That
in-
is-
So the circle has started now. We've been doing it a year, but
Yeah.
I love the flexibility it gives me. When I was in social work, if I asked for a day off or had to go bring my kids to the doctors or something, like it was almost like you got penalized for like having that life and having to do all these other things. And I hated that, and I resented my bosses for it. And I told myself I would never do that to somebody, and I don't want to live that lifestyle. And
What do your kids think now that you guys have more freedom? I mean, you got more freedom, you got more time. How do they feel?
Dude, our kids have no idea.
How
Like-
lucky they are.
Like we were at a hot spot the other day, and they're playing on the ground with like Andy Albright and Uncle Riddle and like Alex A. Like they're playing like they think it's like normal, like I don't know.
They're living a great life. They
Yeah.
don't know yet.
Yeah,
but
they get down here they go to Disney every other freaking week. They don't know, but it's good. We get to spoil them like that, and this
I love
business has to do that. Like Rachel just pulled him out of school and flew him up to New Hampshire as we were training agents, and she got to see family up there, and that's kind of like the flexibility of this business. Is we wrote off a trip, helped new agents get started, and we got to see, Rachel got to see her parents, and it's all one thing.
Do you feel like, coming into the insurance world, you got a lot of new people. I mean, you got people coming in all the dang time, and there's a statistic, if I can say that correctly, that says only 8% of people, there's only 8% of successful insurance agents,
Yeah.
right? So you had your own business, you're a welder. Do you guys feel like it was easier to come into the insurance world than what you guys were doing before? Or what do you guys think?
For me, I thought it was really easy because my whole life I was trained to build rapport with people and build connections and help people. So that human service aspect that I had for 12 years, it made it really easy to go into a client's home, sit down, do a needs analysis, find out how I can help them, and follow through on that task.
Yeah, I did not find it easy at all.
Not at first, he didn't. You're doing great.
I had zero sales experience other than selling myself, and like I could go and weld stuff because you could be a total jerk and people still need you to do it. Like with insurance, it took me a while to like get the rapport building down, get the product knowledge down.
You in, you out.
Yeah, I would pretty much go in with a lead, like, all right, you want it? And no, okay, I'll see you later. And that was my first couple of sits,
I
But now
love
that
it.
I'm getting into it, I mean, now it's definitely clicking for me now for sure.
What is the biggest thing that you think would make you guys successful in the insurance world?
Hustle.
And what is it? So that's a broad topic. So like when you say hustle, what do you mean by hustle?
So you have to be, I think if you want to be successful doing this and not be in the 8%, because I think that statistic is dead on. And this is something I realized running my first business is that the first, if you're going to be doing this full time, the first 6 months are crucial. Like you have to be putting in business. It's got to be activity. You can go to all the trainings and do all the NAA university, and you can know everything there is to know about insurance. But if you're not out there knocking on doors, making phone calls, talking to people, telling them what you're doing, you're not going to be successful. So that when I say hustle, I mean like you have to be doing this. I mean, if you want to just do a part-time and do 1-2 policies a week, which is totally fine. Like I'm not here to tell anybody not to do that. That's not going to take as much hustle. But if you want to be doing this full time, like you got to be out there doing it. It's definitely that first year.
100%. So Rachel, what can you say that backs that up? I mean, what could you say that could help an insurance agent become like, out of that 8% loophole that people find themselves in, and how do they take themselves from being at a level to the next level? Like what would you say?
Yeah, it was definitely a few things for me. I mean, I needed to get some thicker skin. And communication really helped me a lot. I was calling, if it wasn't Olga, Jason, Kyle, Nina, my mom, I was just calling everybody above me that had been through it before to kind of coach me through it. And I told myself I need to be coachable. I need to learn from these people. They went through the same exact things that I went through. These are the only people that I can learn from. So I was really optimistic in that sense. And then going for no. Olga told me to read this book, Go for No. And that changed my entire outlook of everything. My door knocking, my phone script. Anytime I went to a client's house, I was looking for the no's to get closer to the yeses. And I wasn't as upset if I went to a door knock and they slammed the door in my face, or they called the cops on me, or they cussed me out. I wasn't mad because I knew that wasn't going to be a sale. That would have been a chargeback. That was a no. Wasn't the right time, and it led me to more yeses.
Your thick skin that you said, get a thicker skin. How do you develop that? I mean, you got a lot of people, because a lot of us, I mean, shoot, take it in, for instance, man, you're walking up to, let's say a pretty lady and, Jared, you get like, you get knocked down and you get, they say, no, I'm good. Like, and then it hurts, man. Like, some people are like, they're weaker than like thick, you know what I mean? So how do you develop that thick skin? So you're like, oh dude, like, okay, you said no to me, so I'm gonna go to the next person, because it's just not that easy. How do you develop that?
I learned to care enough not to care.
Yeah.
Like Jason tells me that all the time.
That's-
Care enough not to care.
Yeah.
If I don't want a negative person in my life to begin with, so if they're gonna treat me like that, then I'm okay just shutting them out and moving on to something more positive.
Yeah, on to the next one. We offer a service not a lot of people have. I mean, we can't count the number of times we run into somebody who's got bad insurance, doesn't know how it's set up, or it has no idea what they have going on. And we offer the products to clear that up and like the service to help them out as well. So that's something that and if people don't want that, that's fine. Like there's somebody out there who does want that. So that's what kind of keeps me going, is like, if this person says, no, that's fine. Like I'll get to the next person, or I'll get to the next person. Like it's a game of numbers. And it's especially important for people who are in their first year, is that it's a game of numbers. Like out of 100 people you'll talk to, 10 will buy. So you just need to get through the 100. Like every time you do a door knock or a dial, you need to know every time you pick up the phone and make a dial, you're going to make $5, because eventually you're going to find somebody to buy. So it's
100%.
just,
I think I did in July, I door knocked only, and we did close to 18,000. But I remember at the beginning, the first week, I think I door knocked like 36 houses in one day, not a single contact. And then
What kept me moving? I mean, I get calls all the time from all kinds of different insurance agents, even people that are on my team, like they're asking questions. And one of the biggest questions, like I hear a lot of frustration there. Like you said, you'll hit 36 doors and you'll hear no, 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 no. Like what keeps you moving? What makes you want to keep doing it instead of giving up?
Because I know in this stack somewhere, there's a yes. Like this is a stack of money.
Hey, there's
Like,
money. Yeah, there's money in there.
But they're all $1. You got to find $100 bill in there, right? And it's like for me, I want a really good life, and I want my boys to see how hard we're working, and I want them to, reap the reward of all this hard work we're doing.
Yeah.
So they're like a huge piece to my why. But also, I mean, after that day where I had no contacts, the next day I think I sold like 6 policies in a row. So
That's crazy.
It's a circle, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. I think for this business, like, because it does get tough sometimes, between chargebacks, the people hanging up on you, yada yada. Like your why, and that's kind of big in anything with entrepreneurship, is your why of why you're doing it has to be so big, because if the prize is clear, then the price is easy.
Right.
So if you're like, okay, if I want to make $1 million, the price is talking to this many people, then it's easy to do. So you have to have what you want set out pretty clearly.
I'm gonna do something cool real quick. Kyle, I'm gonna ask you a question, buddy. So you've seen Rachel and Jared, grow from something to something, right? So like now they're doing amazing, and that just does not happen overnight. What do you think is the biggest thing that you've seen happen with Jared and Rachel that allowed them to grow the way that they are? Like, what do you see that's different in them compared to other people that maybe aren't being so successful?
What's up, Jose? Great question, brother. And I would have to say coaching from these two. They've really leaned into the system, getting around the fire. They ain't scared to get to events. Sometimes it's inconvenient to travel, but they don't make any excuses. They get there. They'll get in the plane, they'll get in the car, they'll travel to Tampa. They just went to Georgia. Jared went to Georgia with some agents. Rachel told you she went with the boys to New Hampshire to train some new agents who are on this call, Alex and Casey. They're up and coming rock stars.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Dude.
They're already working out. You see that? They're rocking on that treadmill.
Out while they're working, man. You see that?
Multitasking, dude. That's strong right there. Good job, guys.
Yeah, and like Jared said, man, Rachel said, hustle, man. They ain't scared to hustle, dude. They ain't scared to put in the work, man. 6-7 days a week.
6-7 days a week. So what do you think? Like somebody that's not so motivated, what would your first step be to get them motivated? Like, what do you do to do that?
I find out what motivates them. What is their why? If it's not money, what is it? Is it their kids, their family? Like, what is that why? And then that's what I focus on, their goals. to help get them there.
And do you kind of say that maybe like just like insurance sales go door to door or like calling on the phone, if they're going to give you a tough time, do you just kind of move on and only focus on the people that are wanting to give you that time? Like how, like in the beginning, I can say it myself. I had a lot of attachment. I bring somebody on, let's say I brought Jaron on, and I'm like, dude, you're going to be awesome. I can't wait to see your success. Like this is that. And next thing you know, they just kind of shoot you in the foot and you're like, wow, okay, well, that's not what I expected. Like, how do you get past that point, Kyle? Like, tell us.
Dude, I'm looking for people who want to move, man. People who want to run, like running buddies, like Jared and Rachel. You know, what does Marcus Setta say? You give people your time that are worth it, that earn it, not that want it. You know, they got to show that they got some skin in the game. They ain't scared to get down and dirty, make calls, do appointments, go out in the field, help people. And that's what Jared and Rachel do, man. They make no excuses. They get it done. So you're really looking for a Jared and Rachel out there when you're recruiting.
Flipping the card, right? Just keep flipping that card. And how do you guys, I mean, this is for you, Kyle, this is for Jared, this is Rachel. How do you guys find your people? I mean, you hear people, I don't have nobody. My warm market isn't strong. You know, how do you guys find your people?
I mean,
Yes, so
you go out there, you got the state license list to call, you got Facebook. I think, so Rachel put up an Indeed ad, right? Check
Rachel,
it out.
I got to say,
Ad. We got like 300 applications overnight and they shut the ad down. It was
No
crazy.
way, dude.
They shut that thing down and so quickly. But for those 300, you just call them. You're looking for, like Kyle said, you're looking for people who want to work.
only a few are still around.
Yeah, we got one out in Colorado. That's
Yeah.
about it.
But I mean,
What did you say? Like 300 people? That's kind of impressive. Like that's gold right there. How did you do that?
it was just a very generic position about, I didn't hide anything. I put that it was the Alliance, it's insurance and healthcare and, commission based only, potential to work from home, but, must have car. Like it was very generic. I still have a stack of applications. I haven't even finished calling through them all because we were at breakthrough when this all happened. But
so yeah, I think Andy Albright said that. He goes, "What did you put in that ad?"
Yeah, he saw the
100%.
stack. He was flipping through them all. He's like, okay, let's call it. Like some of them were actually in the same. What is it, Burlington?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were from all over.
Yeah, they were. A lot of them were right there.
That is great in the Burlington area.
Yeah,
Man, they would love you over there in that home office. I'll tell you what. Just start loading them up.
Yeah.
But now we have an assistant, so she books all of my recruiting interviews throughout the week.
And that's the crazy thing too. I see like, and me myself, I need to get an assistant. Like, where do you like people? When is the right time? When is the right time to get an assistant?
Right now.
Right.
Sooner the better.
Sooner the better.
Make more money that way.
Yeah, once I say our success, so in the last 2 to 3 weeks, our success, I think we're now 30 people wide, right?
27 wide, 3 deep.
Yeah, we're getting depth underneath a lot of them. But on top of that, it's like we have an assistant now. So now my application count magically went up when I got an assistant. I'd be happy to do 5 or 6 a week. I think it's Thursday and I'm already at like 13 or 14 applications already. And I don't know if it's because now we have to work harder, but it's something as soon as we brought on that assistant, our numbers just shot up.
How did your guys' energy levels? I mean, how did that guy? I mean, because it gets pretty draining, right? I mean, you're like at Saturday and you're like, man, I can't wait for Sunday because I can relax. Like, how do you guys keep yourself going? How do you keep that fire keep like not burn out? Tell us the secret on that.
Get excited about it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Jared comes home amped up because he did like 6 sales today. I had like 29 interviews. I fast tracked, I think 5. So like we just like this, it's exciting. We're building our business.
I mean, we get burned out. Like, don't get me wrong. Like we're going to bed. We'll fall asleep. Like I came back last week from Atlanta. I had my flight got messed up, so I was like falling asleep all day long. You know what I mean? But I know that we have a steady lead flow. Like we're a big believer in buying leads because the leads force you to work. So not only do we have leads forcing us to work, Now we have our assistant forcing us to work. So it's kind of like Andy says, you have to trick yourself into getting rich.
Well, and we have an office now,
Yeah,
so like,
so-
it's just like the more things that are
Yeah.
building up our company make us, are kind of forcing us to work harder,
Yeah.
but it's a good force.
Yeah, we
It's
built
because
quite a machine now.
I had a good friend of mine. He's over in Hawaii. That's actually with the Alliance too. And I'm like, man, look, I got all this debt, blah 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 blah. I got the car payment. He said, you know what? There's one plus about you is that you have a bill. I mean, it could be positive, it could be negative, but you got a bill. That means that you have to pay that bill, which makes you drive to even go out and actually write insurance because you have to come up with that money. You're not going 9 to 5 and getting an hourly paycheck. It drives you. So I mean, I could see where you guys say getting an office, there's a bill. You know, getting an assistant, there's a bill. Having the rest of your guys' life, there's a bill. So as long as you guys have something, I mean, that's kind of like motivational in itself doing that. But how did you guys like what? Let's look at the first year. So you guys started in the first year of it, and then you guys had your trial and error and learned all that. And then in the second year, you guys already have an office. You guys already have like an office assistant. Like, what was your AP the first? What was your first like your AP in the first year? Let's hear that.
I think we were just about 100 grand in the first year. 100 grand. So, I mean, it's like in a lot of that. But so we hear 100 grand, but you know, we had a lot of high lead costs because we sucked. You know, but we just knew that if we bought leads and failed fast, you know, because people always talk about insurance agents, the learning curve is like a hockey stick. You'll go months just trying to figure it out, throwing paint at the wall, bad placement, bad dialing. Like you're going to come in, you're not going to be very good. But then it gets to a point where it just shoots up. And that's where we're at right now. I mean, I'm between writing Medicare, writing life. Now we're recruiting and building. Like it's just sooner or later things are going to click. And like for some people it goes quicker, and for some people it takes a little bit longer. But if you don't quit, you'll hit it. And then like now when I'm in houses, like I see opportunities that I didn't see in my first year. Like I went to go do a policy review, end up writing them 2 more term policies, figure out what they have for safe money. And then because we went to an Alex Avian training, he started talking to us about single premium IUL funding, split dollar funding, all this like next level country club, you know, Illuminati wealth transfer stuff. But now we're able to implement that now. And it's just like, so the getting in the business is what's going to keep you in the business, like going to the hot spots.
That's awesome, man. It's like getting around the other people that are doing it. I mean, you know, I tell people all the time, Kyle, like, look, diversity is huge. That's why I decide, in all honesty, like Rachel and Jared, if I am be honest, you guys like Rachel hits me up is like, what are we going to talk about? Well, like what I talk, like I just dig into your mindset. I dig into your atmosphere. I dig into like, what is your day to day? Because people need to hear that. People need to be put like, there's a buddy of mine in the Alliance. I didn't say no names. And I told him, I said, look, you can either stay out there doing it by yourself and trying to do it by yourself, and you're only going to try to learn from yourself. But if you don't get yourself around other people, it is not going to work. Because I remember when I was down in Sarasota, Florida, and I was down there probably a year, and I was doing it by myself for like 2 months. Yeah, I had Dennis's help, and he was my upline, but it was like, I needed something more. So I go around Stephanie Rodriguez, Michelle Collin, all those people, Brian Rojas. And as soon as I did that, that's what spiked. I mean, it just really taught me a lot getting around Andy Albright and like you said, the conferences. And I'm so proud of you. Man, Rachel, Jared, you guys are doing amazing. Keep up the hard work. Like, let's get back to like the assistant. When you guys got an assistant, you hear, I don't have enough money for an assistant. When is that? Like, I mean, what would that look like? What do you say to people? What would you say about that?
I mean, you want to have like, I guess, a little bit of a nest egg. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you can pay your assistant. Like you don't want to make sure you're cash flow positive. You know, you want to make sure that you're not just slinging it on a shoestring. But it gets to a certain point where you're, I guess, gonna have to make the jump. You know, because you're going to be limited. You only have so much time, and you have to try to leverage money for time after a while. And we were just at a spot where Jason Mathis looked at us and said, "Listen, we're interviewing people. We're going to get you. You know, you're going to get an assistant." So we were like, "All right, well, shoot, he makes $50,000 a month probably knows what he's talking about. You know, you're going to get to a certain point where you don't have any time to do everything that an assistant can do.
And that's kind of where we got. We had to work pendings. We were trying to make dials. We were trying to recruit. We had to go to these appointments. The kids had stuff going on. And I mean, even though there's two of us trying to run this business, there wasn't enough time in the day.
What is like, I'm gonna ask you guys, what is the, and this is for you too, Kyle. I want all three of your guys' opinion on us. If you could give me three things, the top three things that you would invest into your business when you come into any kind of insurance agency, what would that be?
You want us each to give you one, or all three of us give you three?
Just all three of you give me three.
Light them up, Kyle.
I'm gonna say invest in yourself heavily, number one. Like, you're the key component to this business. Invest in your leads.
Please.
100%. Without leads, unless you have a massive warm market you can work, invest in leads. You can build a book of business. Like, me and Nina have over 1,900 clients, and that took from a lot of lead investment. You know,
like, I'm stuck at that like 325 mark. I mean, I think there's a point in time where, because you get charged, like Jared said earlier, you get chargebacks, right? So your clientele is going to be like that. So is that the secret to get past like that mark and just get 1,900 clients? How much were you investing into leads?
we were doing over 1,000 a week for a while, but I mean, we're issue paying over 20K a month on average, 30K a month. So it's investing in yourself, your business, an assistant. You can't be doing all the clicky, waiting on the carrier for an hour on the phone. You can't be making money while you're doing that.
Right.
So it says, man, get an assistant as soon as you can afford one.
So, I mean, you look at this, like, because talk to me, man, I could spend $500 to get 50 leads, right? You go internet-based leads, stuff like that. So let's say, because maybe I'm doing this wrong, I learned something from you too. You go out there and you call on Monday, you set for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you don't get them on the phone, right? Or they just don't answer, or you can't set an appointment. Door knock Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But that takes time. So by buying $1,000 of leads, I mean, do you automatically see more appointment setting? Like, how do you, I guess, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say on that, but.
Yeah, Jose, so the way we kind of like, so the amount of leads I get per week, I probably get about 50 leads weekly.
50 leads.
Right? So you think about when you call through a stack of 10, you get one or two that are just,
One every 10.
they're down, right? They know what it's for. They want you to come over. So we look at it as, we're going to take all the cream off the top. Cream always rises to the top. So we want the laydowns, you know what I mean? Because our time is now more valuable than the money. Like, if you're just starting, like, and you can only afford so many leads, like, buy that and work those leads to the depth. But if I have people who aren't picking up, like, I'm not spending all day calling them. I'm calling the people who are picking up. And that's it's a luxury we get to do now, because we invested heavily in leads at the beginning. Now we just have like kind of like a recurring cash flow. So that's like,
what do you do with the leads that you can't get a hold of on the phone and set appointments with? Do you go out there and door knock them, or out, like, how do you approach those? You know what I mean? Because I mean, that's time in itself too, as well.
Downline. Like, we have downlines all over the state. We throw them to them as free leads. Say, hey, listen, you're just getting started. I couldn't get a hold of them. Here you go. Because we've worked 2-year-old leads and had plenty of success.
5-year-old leads.
Yeah, we've sold off of 5-year-old leads before. Leads.
Great.
But because maybe the time isn't now, but maybe in 3 months it is. So we've had our downline sell people that we couldn't sell. You know?
That's amazing. So basically, you're leveraging your downline, and it's a win-win situation. I mean, you're giving them leads. They don't have to reinvest in. They don't really have to invest in the leads at first, because you have the leads for them, and then they're making money, and then so they can see that they're going to make money off of the lead and vet or leads. So they're willing to invest into the leads. So are you door knocking yourself, or you just setting solid appointments and going and approach that way?
You can do both.
Me, yeah, I do both. I'll be honest, I don't have a ton of luck door knocking. I'm much better at setting appointments and sitting those.
Okay.
Rachel's pretty good at door knocking.
Rachel's the door knocking.
Yeah, I can't get in them houses. I don't got that. I'm not that cute, Like, you see, when I first started, Jose, I had a shaved bald head, and I would go out with like my sleeves up, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're not coming again."
So was it like your head was like purposely bald, or what was it
Oh
like?
yeah, it's hot down here.
That's awesome, man. I love that. So, but yeah, dude. So that, that's the thing, is that you can always learn something from somebody, right? You can and that's the thing you guys got to realize, is to stay humble. You can't act, and to grow your business, you have to know that you don't know everything and be ready to learn something. Because if you think that you know everything, you're not going to grow. So therefore, I always say learning is earning and earning is learning. So if you're gonna, you just like Jared and Rachel said, you got to go back and invest. You get money coming in, you got to take it, you got to spend it out, because like Andy Albright says, to get is to give, and to give is to get. So therefore, it's hand in hand. Just like money is time, time is money. And I'm so, dude, thank you, Rachel, Jared. Thank you guys so much for hopping on here. It means a lot, dude. Kyle, man, I wasn't expecting you to come on here, but that was even more of a blessing too. I'm so happy. I'm ready. What are you guys more excited about in 2023? Like, what is the biggest thing you guys are excited about?
Team.
Team, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got new goals every year.
Yeah.
Goals are changing.
We set goals at the beginning of the year we already hit goals that we set at the beginning of the year. So now we just set them even further. We want to have like we have a training coming up on the 4th in Florida. And like, I'm petty. I want like the most people in that training. Like, I want the biggest team.
I think we have like 13 going right now.
Yeah, like we just want to build a big team, build a big business. And we know the way we're clipping right now, like we're going to build quick. So.
And so like, people are scared to make this, well, it's not scared to make money. I wouldn't per se say that, but people that are scared to spend money, what would you say?
About people scared to invest money?
Yeah, because you hear like people making money, they say you bring $1,000 a week and they're like, man, like I just brought in that 1,000. And some people are like little bulldogs, man. They'll guard that money with all their life and be like, I'm going to keep that in my bank account. What do you say about that?
It's hard to change that thinking process in people like that. I kind of think if they, maybe this isn't the right thing for them.
I think
Make money, Jose.
I think the easiest way to illustrate it, Jose, is say like we look at the leaderboards probably like everybody else, like 6 times a day, see where I'm at on it. Like, I look at the people who are on the top of the leaderboard and I go, okay, all of these people invest in leads and they do it this way. I'm just going to do that. That's kind of how we came to our lead.
Yeah, we're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, you buy the leads, you call the people.
Following the system.
And I gotta ask you, I gotta ask you a question, Kyle. So like, and then that's the thing too. I'm always willing to learn, and that's why I have these Thursday calls. 1, it teaches me something, 2, teaches an agent something, and 3, we're just diversifying ourselves full of people. So you guys have me intrigued with this lead thing, because I'm like, what can I do better to get myself ahead of the game? So like Jared said, he gets leads and he'll send it down to his downline, have them get in front of people, door knock and stuff like that. So would you say maybe to start door knocking less and invest more in the leads and try to set more solid appointments? What would you say?
I would say, you asking me or Jared?
No, I'm asking you.
I would say a new agent starting out, invest in leads and work those leads, man. If they don't pick up, door knock them. If they pick up and say no, door knock them. And we went to an Alex Abian training 2 days ago. Dennis was there, Jared and Rachel were there, 2 of their downlines were there. And Mike Marisi says what he does is shadow scheduling. And what that is he sets the schedule and then he has door knocks around each one of those appointments. So if they're not there, what's up, Bolly? That's a man right there. If they're not there, he just door knocks right around there. So it's shadow scheduling. So you're always busy while you're out there in the field. You don't want to waste time.
Yeah. So like, let's say you spend $1,000 a week, right? So obviously, maybe starting off, you're not going to spend that, but you're going to work yourself up to that. So you spend $1,000. So I probably did this all wrong, guys. I mean, I spent $500 and it took a couple weeks to work all that because you get into homes and then you're selling. I mean, no matter what, should you just be spending that $1,000 every single week, or should you work those leads and then spend another $1,000?
$1,000 a week, brother.
$1,000.
Drink out of the fire, man. If you're working full time, and you trying to make 20 grand a month, $1,000, bro.
Steady lead coming in. And I mean, Jose, you can close, man. So I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
you're a bro.
Yeah, you're not gonna have no trouble with that stuff. You know?
It was tough when we were like fighting over leads.
Yeah,
You know, when you have 2 agents in one house, and Kyle, and you guys know.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
amazing. No,
Almost
that's
like it's almost like you gotta double it.
yeah. Yeah, I think at one point our lead bill was about $2,300 a week. That was
Okay.
crazy. We had about 48 zeros coming in a week, but
Mhm.
it made us work. You know?
was it scary? Was it scary going from like, let's say $200-300 a week to $1,000 a week? I mean, was that a scary adjustment?
It was like
Yeah.
it was a scary, excited feeling because it was like, okay, we have these leads, we need to do something about it.
Yeah.
We invested. I'm not wasting my money now, so we need to do something
Yeah.
about it.
You know, it's good. I like what the lead performance team did, where I think it's like 15 leads and below, you can cut the GMR off. So what we had done is we put an A0 GMR in the county we usually work, but then we put one right next to a county that we worked. So we were getting 30 leads a week, but at any time we could shut it off. You know what I mean? Because you're not locked in with it now.
Are you guys running direct mail? What are you guys running?
Direct mail. Yeah. So my lead bill is ridiculous right now because I'm doing Medicare. So I actually request 90 A0s a week. But I get like
90?
90.
And that's just him because I'm not running. I'm
Yeah.
only recruiting.
And I'll get like 30 or 40 of those things and just blast through them. But I'm writing like 10. My new 0 per week is 10 apps, and now it's getting up to like 20 apps a week.
That is crazy. 90 leads a week, man. I'm sitting over here getting like 50 for like 2 weeks and trying to run all of them. Man, I see, like I'm doing something. Like we're always learning, man. We always do something wrong. Man, that's crazy. So Kyle, what's my excuse, man? 90 leads a week? That's impressive, man.
Well, not all 90 come in all the time. So let me make that very clear. I'm not running 90 all the time. It's like I had to request 90 to get 40 to come in. It's Medicare leads work a little bit differently, but
no wonder you guys going to Disneyland. That's awesome, dude. Well, does anybody in here in the group have any questions to ask Rachel, Jared, or Kyle himself? No?
That's it. We answered all the questions, man.
We passed.
We're good.
You guys passed. You guys got a golden star, man. I guess that's how it works.
Is that when you're moving to Florida?
What?
You're gonna move to Florida.
Actually, you know what? It's crazy. I wanted to move a lot sooner, and this is what we talk about the door knocks, man. I went over and I've closed $1.8 million within January and February already. And the only reason why I haven't had it on the board is because today I went out and it's a process. So I went out there and talked to one client. I had another client. We just saw, so 1.8 million always is not all in annuities. Some of you're going to have managed accounts and stuff like that. But I know we just did like a $500,000 annuity today. And I think the other client, we're going to probably do 300,000, and we're going to be selling her timeshares too as well. So it's a process. So, and then I did 223. So I'm just like, I wanted to go early, but when you find the money, you don't really want to leave. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to stay here and keep seeing what else I can find throughout the mud, and keep digging out the riches. So I'm going to be over there, man. I do miss it. I ain't gonna lie, but it's like Jared over here, man. I'm excited for him. He was, who was that person that you were listening to, Jared? Patrick Fitzdavid or something like that? You're on mute, bud. It's Patrick Fitzdavid, but he was listening. He's listening to him, and I talked to him, and he's doing plumbing now. So, and he works out here in Snohomish County and stuff like that. So Washington's a really untouched market. You got Jake Bell Krause, and you got Joe and Tawny Walker, and then you got one of Bell's people on the other side over there, like Idaho. But other than that, there's really not a lot of agents. So I'm excited for him. But anyway, I'm excited, Jared and Rachel. Thank you, Kyle, for coming on here. And yeah, man, I appreciate you guys' time, and you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Later.